In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I prep my meals for this week. These are easy, vegan and high protein meals. Meal prep has been an absolute game changer for my journey and it really helps me stick with my goals. So watch me as I prep my meals. This typically takes between an hour and two. So let's get started. I typically try to hit 150 grams of protein along with my supplement, but typically 100 grams of it comes from whole food protein sources. And for breakfast, I have been having this oatmeal and it's packed with protein. I'll show you how I make it. So basically it contains 30 grams of oats, 30 grams of hemp seeds, which actually gives you 10 grams of protein, some flax seeds and chia seeds that provides the essential omega-3 acids. Hey, if you're getting any value from this video, do hit that subscribe button for more such videos talking about vegan protein and what I eat in a day and different exercises and about my transformation coming up on this channel. Let's get started. Just 2 tablespoons of hemp seeds literally gives you 10 grams of protein. You can just add it to salads, oatmeal, smoothies and pretty much everything. I try to add it to my oatmeal and I get 10 grams of protein just the first thing in the day. Next I'm going to be adding some of these flax seeds. I got these ground flax seeds from Costco and these are great for omega-3s and omega-6s. I also try to add some dates to my oatmeal. These are really healthy as well as give some really good flavor to my oatmeal. I usually try to cut it into small pieces so it gets disintegrated. Trust me, the end result, I really love the oatmeal every single day. Some people like to add Greek yogurt or alternative non-dairy milk to their oatmeal, but I just add water and then I add this protein powder. Typically I alternate between vanilla and chocolate flavors and then I usually make for 4 days. I just try to do something different on the 5th day, like a tofu scramble for breakfast. So there is some variety because like I'm a busy professional and I work from home on Fridays. That's my oatmeal. It already looks very yummy and then it's gonna just sit overnight and absorb all the flavors and has like high protein thanks to the protein powder and the hemp seeds. But I also try to rotate the flavors, add some cinnamon, chocolate, protein powder sometimes, so there's some variety across different weeks. This is just like, I love this. Next for my lunch, I typically try to consume 200 grams of tofu or the equivalent of tempeh. This week it's tofu. I already have this pre-cut 800 grams for 4 days and then on the 5th day I usually try to have a different form of protein, the tofu scramble or tempeh or something like that, but I've already cut it. Typically I try to press the tofu first, squeeze out the water and then try to cut it into cubes, which I'm going to be baking today with some spices and some nutritional yeast. I also try to consume between 200 to 300 grams of veggies every day, and this has cauliflower, broccoli and mushrooms and bell pepper that I've already cut this morning when I was just watching videos. That already makes my meal prep really easy and quicker. And then along with this, I also try to make some lentil soup or what we call as dal, which gives almost 6 grams of protein, which is very versatile, and I try to have it with bread or rice or quinoa, whatever I make on that particular day. And recently I've taken a liking to Ezekiel bread, which actually has 4 to 5 grams of protein per slice. I'm going to be prepping my tofu and veggies. So I have nutritional yeast here, which 2 tablespoons of the nutritional yeast gives you 5 grams of protein. I try to incorporate it. It's also fortified with B12. So for this tofu recipe I'm going to be adding, I like to keep it with very less oil, so I'm going to be adding nutritional yeast, garlic powder, sriracha and some soy sauce and mix it and then bake it. Yeah, if there's a lot of tofu, you probably want to do it in multiple batches, but I'm lazy, so I'm just gonna stick all of it in the same cookie sheet. If you want to add oil, that's probably good because then it gets cooked better, but I try to reduce the oil intake because the calories add up. I would rather add more of nutritional yeast and things like that, which gives me more protein. So I try to bake it for 25 minutes so that on the day of eating it, I can actually air fry it for 5 minutes and then it gets roasted. So it's like slightly undercooked, so I can actually cook more on the day off. The soup. Alright, let's get started. I'm going to be cutting the tomatoes and green chili for my lentil soup. I try to add some curry powder and some other spices from my kitchen, and I add some ginger garlic paste and then let it pressure cook. If you can handle spice, just be careful on that chili powder. And then I'm also going to be turning on my oven to get it to preheat. I try to add some veg broth to it and then some water and some spices. Basically like a garlic lentil soup, and I love it. So I'm gonna add this low sodium veggie broth, and I'm making it for 4 days. So I'll be starting with 4 cups and then I'll see how it goes. And I typically add more water or based on it. So this is actually moong dal. I try to consume almost 60 grams of moong dal every day, which gives me 6 grams of protein, and it's like essential to consume different varieties of plant-based protein in order to have complete sources of protein. So I try to have this with either rice. So I just pressure cook it for about 12 minutes and then I blend it, and it just comes out to be really yummy. It has a lot of garlic as well, which has great benefits. I'm just gonna pressure cook it right now. For my dinner, I'm prepping my TVP. I'll start to boil some water and then soak it in the water just for 10 minutes. The TVP that I've been trying to consume is practically soya chunks, but it absorbs the flavor much better and it's a lot more easier to cook. So I particularly prefer this, and these are like super high in protein. Like I mentioned, quite versatile also. TVP, which is textured vegetable protein, it actually looks like this. When cooked, it's basically has the consistency of pretty much similar to rice. Depending on the day, I try to have taco or just have it with some chips, but most days I just have it with avocado and in form of tacos. That's just my favorite. So how I prep this is I usually soak it in hot water for 10 minutes and then it's already like hydrated, and then I squeeze out the water. And then I try to make an Indian version of it by adding some spices that I'm most familiar with. So let's get started. Alright, I'm cutting the onions for my TVP, and it's just like a very quick, the TVP has been soaking and I just would need to squeeze them out and then have the onions chopped. Basically just add some spices and it's already ready. Alright, so that's my TVP cooked. So I typically add it, put it inside a tortilla, add some jalapeno sauce, some avocado, and then just have it as a taco, and it's really yummy. I make it for 5 days and I'm able to get 33 grams in one dinner meal. So that's just great. And then I have a protein shake after, and that's like a solid 60 grams of protein. So that is my meal prep. It takes a couple of hours. It's just taking slightly longer today because I'm trying to do this video. I hope you guys got some ideas on high protein vegan meals. That is how I hit my 150 grams of protein per day. This gives me a really good base to work with for the protein, as well as I still have some flexibility in terms of the carbs where I can rotate between rice or quinoa or tortillas. If you watched this video this far, do check out this other video where I talk about my transformation, how I ate pretty much the same thing every day and I lost 30 pounds. To check out, see in that video.